My sister banned me from Thanksgiving because of her fiancé. What he said next left everyone speechless. The message from my sister arrived 3 days before Thanksgiving. Don't come this year. Jake doesn't want you there. That was it. No explanation, no apology, just a quiet little text that somehow managed to uninvite me from my own family's Thanksgiving dinner. I stared at the screen for a full minute, waiting for the follow-up message. Maybe a joke, maybe a just kidding. Nothing came, so I called her. Emily picked up on the third ring, and from the way she said, "Hey," I could already tell she knew exactly why I was calling. "Hey?" I repeated. "You just banned me from Thanksgiving and all I get is hey?" She sighed. "Please don't start." "Start what? You literally told me not to come to Thanksgiving." "It's just this year," she said carefully. "Why?" Another pause. Then she said the name. Jake. Of course, Jake had been in my sister's life for 8 months, and somehow in that short time, he had already managed to rearrange our entire family dynamic. Emily used to host Thanksgiving every year. It was our tradition. Mom brought the pies, Dad burned the turkey edges, and I handled the wine and sarcasm. But ever since Jake moved in with her, things had been different. "He thinks it would be less stressful if you didn't come," Emily finally said. I blinked. "Stressful?" I said. "What exactly about me is stressful?" "He just feels like you don't respect him." That made me laugh. "Is this about fantasy football?" "That's not the only thing." "Emily," I said, "he added a player after the game started. He said the app glitched." "The app didn't glitch. The man cheated." "He didn't cheat. He literally admitted it when he thought nobody else was listening." There was silence on the other end of the phone. Then Emily said something that made my stomach sink a little. "He just wants a peaceful holiday." Peaceful? Apparently, peace meant removing me from the guest list. "So Jake decides I can't come," I said slowly, "and you're just going along with that?" "It's not like that." "It kind of is." "He's my fiancé now," she said. That word hung in the air. Fiancé. 8 months, and somehow he already had veto power over family holidays? "Emily," I said quietly, "you're choosing a guy you've known less than a year over your own sister. That's not fair. Neither is banning me from Thanksgiving." She sighed again, like I was the one being difficult. "Please don't make this a bigger deal than it is." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her she was being ridiculous, but instead I did something that surprised both of us. "Okay," I said. She paused. "Okay? Yeah, if Jake doesn't want me there, I won't come." Her voice instantly relaxed. "Thank you. I knew you'd understand." But she was wrong, because while Emily thought the situation was over, Jake apparently had something he wanted to say to me himself. The next morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered it. "Hello?" A man's voice replied. "Hey, this is Jake." I leaned back in my chair. "Well," I said, "to what do I owe the honor?" There was a short pause. Then Jake said something that made my eyebrows shoot up immediately. "I think you misunderstood the situation yesterday." "Misunderstood?" I said slowly. "Yeah," he continued, "because the reason you're not coming to Thanksgiving isn't actually about you." And when he explained what he really meant, I realized something much bigger was happening inside my family, and Jake had accidentally dragged me right into the middle of it. But what Jake said next about my sister made me realize this Thanksgiving was about to explode in a way none of us saw coming. Jake cleared his throat on the phone. "I think you misunderstood the situation yesterday." "Oh?" I said. "Yeah, because the reason you're not coming to Thanksgiving isn't actually about you." I leaned back in my chair. "Then please explain why your fiancé told me you didn't want me there." There was a pause, a long one. Then Jake said something unexpected. "Because Emily told me you already knew." "Knew what?" Another pause. "I thought she told you," he said slowly. My stomach tightened. "Jake," I said carefully, "tell me what you're talking about." He exhaled. "It's about money." Of course it was. Money had a way of turning normal family conversations into disasters. "What about money?" I asked. "Emily said you've been helping her financially for years." That part was true. My sister had never been great with money. Credit cards, impulse shopping, half-finished business ideas. Over the years, I'd quietly covered a few emergencies: car repairs, late rent, medical bills. Nothing huge, just enough to keep her from sinking. But that wasn't a secret. Emily knew I'd never hold it against her. So, I said. Jake hesitated again. She told me you were controlling about it. I blinked. Controlling? Yeah. I let out a small laugh. Jake, the last time I gave Emily money was 6 months ago, and she asked for it. Well, that's not how she described it. I rubbed my forehead. Let me guess. She said I hold it over her head? Something like that. And that's why I'm banned from Thanksgiving? Not exactly. Then what exactly? Jake hesitated again, and when he spoke, his voice sounded lower. Because she also told me you've been threatening to expose her debts to the family. That made me sit up straight. Her what? Her debts. Jake, I said slowly, I have never threatened Emily about anything. He sounded confused. Wait, you didn't know? Know what? Silence filled the line again. Then Jake said the sentence that changed everything. She owes almost $90,000. My heart skipped. 90,000? Credit cards, personal loans, and 2 payday lenders. I stared at the wall in front of me. Emily had told me she had about 15,000 left. 15, not 90. That's impossible, I said quietly. That's what she told me too, Jake replied. She said you've been helping her hide it. I felt a slow wave of anger building in my chest. She said what? Yeah, and because of that, you thought I up and started pacing my kitchen. So Emily told me I was controlling her, blackmailing her, and helping her hide $90,000 in debt. That's basically the story. And your solution was banning me from Thanksgiving? It sounded like family drama. Family drama. That's one way to describe it. But something didn't make sense. Jake, I said slowly. Yeah? If Emily told you all of that, why are you calling me now? Another pause. Then Jake said something that made the entire situation feel much worse. Because yesterday I checked something after our argument. What? A loan application. My stomach dropped. And? I asked. Jake sighed. It's about a $75,000 consolidation loan. I gripped the edge of my kitchen counter. And she used my name? Yeah, but that's not the worst part. A cold feeling crept down my spine. What could possibly be worse than that? Jake took a breath. Because the loan officer told me something else. What? He hesitated. Then he said the words that made my entire body go still. The application was already approved, and the approval paperwork had my signature on it. For a moment, I couldn't speak. The application was approved, Jake repeated quietly, and the paperwork has your signature. That's impossible, I said. I never signed anything. I figured, he said. My brain was moving too fast now. Did the loan officer send you the documents? Yeah, I forwarded them to you 5 minutes ago. My email notification chimed immediately. I opened the message. There it was. Loan agreement, $75,000. Borrower, Emily Carter. Cosigner, my name. And at the bottom, a signature that looked disturbingly similar to mine. But it wasn't mine. My hands went cold. She forged it, I whispered. Jake stayed quiet. Why would she do that? He finally asked. Because, I said slowly, without a cosigner, she'd never qualify for that loan. And with $90,000 already in debt? Exactly. He exhaled heavily. So what do we do? I stared at the document again. Then I said something Jake probably didn't expect. We go to Thanksgiving. He paused. I thought you were banned. Oh, I'm still going, I said. Why? Because if Emily used my name to take out a $75,000 loan, I closed my laptop. She's going to explain it in front of the entire family. Thanksgiving dinner started like nothing was wrong. Mom was arranging pies, Dad was arguing with the Thanksgiving thermometer, Emily was setting the table, and Jake looked like he was about to faint. When I walked through the front door, my sister froze. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "You invited the family," I said calmly. "I'm family." Her eyes narrowed. "Jake told you, didn't he? About the loan?" The color drained from her face instantly. "Can we talk privately?" she whispered. "No." Mom looked up from the kitchen. "Why is everyone whispering?" I pulled a folder from my bag. "Actually," I said, "this concerns everyone." Emily's voice shook. "Please don't do this." "Don't do what?" "Embarrass me." I set the papers on the dining table. "Emily," I said quietly, "you used my name to co-sign a $75,000 loan." Dad blinked. "You did what?" Mom turned slowly toward her sister. "Emily?" Emily's voice cracked. "I was going to fix it." "How?" I asked. "With the loan." "The loan you got by forging my signature?" Silence filled the room. Jake finally spoke. "The bank already approved it." $90,000 in debt, I added. Dad's head snapped toward Emily. 90,000? Her shoulders collapsed. I didn't know what else to do. "So you committed fraud?" I said. Tears filled her eyes. "I was going to pay it back." "That's not the point." Dad rubbed his face. "Emily, this could destroy your sister's credit. And illegally," I said, "it could destroy you." Everyone went quiet again. Finally, Emily whispered the question she'd been avoiding. "What are you going to do?" I looked around the table. Then I answered honestly. "Two options." Emily stared at me. "One," I said, "you call the bank tomorrow and admit the signature is fake." Her breath caught. Or I report it myself." She looked like she might pass out. Jake put a hand on her shoulder. "You should tell the truth," he said quietly. For the first time all night, Emily nodded. The loan was canceled the next morning. Emily had to enter a repayment program for her debts, and the bank opened a fraud investigation that she was lucky didn't turn into criminal charges. Thanksgiving dinner ended early that night, but something else ended too. Emily never asked me for money again, and honestly, that was the most peaceful holiday I'd had in years. So let me ask you something. If a family member used your name to take out a loan, would you protect them or protect yourself? Tell me in the comments what you would have done. And if you believe money should never destroy family, like the video and subscribe for more real stories about money, betrayal, and the moments when people finally say enough.